Hello, welcome to Global AI on Tune, and this session is about Chatbots 101. Oh boy, I miss looking at people's faces and talking. This is so weird because I'm looking at a green light and I'm talking. But this is the first time for me, so just please bear with me. So Chatbots 101. If you are wondering what a chatbot is, let me tell you, the chances are you have already talked with one. Maybe you didn't know that it's called a chatbot, or it was so good that you thought it's a human, it's not a chatbot. So coming back to the question, okay, what is a chatbot? A chatting robot that can mimic a human conversation, like it can chat like a human being. So let me give you a quick example so that you can understand. So you can talk to a chatbot via text or via a speech. So some of the speech-based chatbots are Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, Cortana, or Siri. So these are the chatbots that are like an open domain chatbot. It's not built for a specific purpose of business. It can answer anything for you. But most of the chatbots that you will be developing for the business would be for a specific purpose for your business. Let me give you an example for that. These are the two chatbots that are in WhatsApp. There are a lot of other chatbots. I just have taken two chatbots for the coronavirus. WHO has released a chatbot for coronavirus for answering some of the frequently asked questions, and Indian government has released a chatbot for coronavirus to answer India-based questions and all that. So as you can see, like it lives in WhatsApp and you can talk to it like you talk to a human being. Okay, chatbots. Like before we get into how to build one, I just want to have to give a quick overview on what's the history of chatbots, where it all started. If you were thinking like it all started like few years back, then this is gonna surprise you. In 1950, that is when it all started, when Alan Turing theorized that a truly intelligent machine would be indistinguishable from a human being, not text-only conversation. So the chatbot idea has been laid the foundation at that stage in 1950 itself. After that, there were lots of other MIT researching chatbots, and a lot of others were there. But one thing you would all remember, right? As 90s kids, I think most of us know Clippy. So this is for those who doesn't know, this is a chat bot. Okay, this is a Clippy that lives on Microsoft document, and it pops up when you're stuck when creating a document or writing a document. And we all loved playing with it at that time more than chatting. We all loved changing the Clippy. And after that, by 2006 to 2010, that is when IBM's Watson started booming up. They created an ML that actually competed the real champions of in the geoparody, and that is when it starts getting traction and getting a belief that yes, machine learning can be a thing from fiction to the real world. That is when it started coming. And 2010 Siri came, 2012 Google, 2015 Alexa, Cortana. And then 2016, this is the main year for the chatbots, when Facebook launched Messenger platform and bots in the Messenger. So that this gave the ability to the developers to create chatbot on Messenger. At this point, at the end of 2016 itself, there were 34,000 bots that lived in Messenger. Right now, there are around lakhs of chatbots that lives in Messenger. And after this year, that is when all the conversation platforms like Slack, Telegram, Skype started developing bots on their platform. And at this stage, if you are developing a conversation platform, then I don't think of a conversation platform that doesn't support bots. Pretty much all the conversation platforms right now, say Hangouts, everything supports bots. Saying that, you would have understood the importance of bot right now, right? Bots are everywhere. Bots are on WhatsApp, Messenger, Skype, everywhere. So how to develop one? How to go about building one? Let me take this take on this. Bot, anyway, it's a software that is running. So the software development life cycle analysis, design, implementation, testing, deployment, and maintenance, that is going to be there for the bots also. Let's see in detail of how they are different in the bot environment. Analysis. The first and foremost thing that you have to think of is analyzing your business and seeing the need for chatbot. Say you have an e-commerce business and you want a chatbot to track the users' orders or notify the users when their order is coming their order is going to be delivered, or helping the customers track their orders or place an order, or customer care services. Rather than waiting on the customer care line, they can just talk to your chatbot and get it resolved. The most commonly you ask questions and all these. So that is the thing that you have to find the need for your business to have a chatbot. Only when you know the purpose of the chatbot, you can proceed further. Before doing that, just for the hype of chatbot, just don't go about building one, because you're not building another Siri or Cortana. You're building a chatbot for your business. So know the purpose of it. Design. This is quite interesting. So when you are developing a web app or a mobile app, right, the design is majorly the UX, the designs, where the text box should be, where the button should be, and how it should appear to the users. While in chatbot, the whole UX itself is the conversation. That is how you're going to talk with the software. So designing in this chatbot development will be designing the conversations. Before we get into the conversations, you have to decide what kind of chatbot you're going to develop. There are two kinds. Majorly, you can broadly classify into two. One is menu, button-based, keyword-based chatbots, while the other one is the contextual chatbots. Let me explain you further. This is how a menu-based chatbot would look like. So you can say, bot says hi, and then it guides you with the list of menus where you can click. So if it will give an option to say you're hungry, and if you click that, then it will say what you'd like to eat. And if you click South Indian, then it will pop up and give you dosa, idli, and all these. So this is like you just click a series of buttons, and then it guides you through the flow. And there will be some keyword based recognition. Instead of you can also type, but it will be most of keyword based and limited NLP. While contextual chatbots are much more smarter. You have to train it a lot so that it identifies everything. If you go through this conversation, right, I want to go on a vacation. Fun, let's do it. Who's going? You say, just me. Perfect. Where do you like to go? And then I change my mind and say, hey, actually my friend is also coming with me. And then chatbot is quite intelligent enough to identify that it has to book a vacation for two. Okay, so that is how smart your chatbot will be, to know the context of the conversation and then take a decision based on that. So these are contextual chatbots. This might be overwhelming for you because this requires a lot of training. This is not like the first stage of chatbot, like a lot of training involved to get to this stage. But let me tell you, this is not at all, probably it's not needed. Most of the business are quite happy with the bots like this. Just simple, helpful, polite bot that gets their job done instead of going into the whole lot of NLP and all that. Even if you see the examples that I gave you earlier, right? WHO bots or Indian, the Corona bots, they don't actually go with this contextual thing. They have these options that they give users, say 1, latest numbers, protect yourself, 3, questions answered, like all these. There are options that you can select and then go about talking to a chatbot rather than typing everything. So most of the business are happy with this, and you should be ready to accept that your chatbot need not be smarter like Siri or Cortana. It is enough. It does your job. It does its job. Next important thing is the bot persona. No bot is the representative of your brand. Most of the times is the first thing that user is going to say hello to. So treat that bot like your virtual employee. Give that bot a persona so that the conversations that people are having with your bot are more human-like, and then let me tell you, they'll remember that. So the bot becomes more memorable, and it will increase your conversion rate when it is done properly. So you can create a profile for your chatbot like this. Give it a friendly name. Make it like more human, give it a age, gender, give it some hobbies, interests. Say if it's a shopping bot, let it say, I love shopping also, and these are my favorite apparels, and these are my favorite brands. And if it's a banking bot, then that's not the case. Let it say, I also love to invest in these stocks, like something like that. Be it more professional. And also you have to adjust your bot's humor level according to your business needs. Like I said, for a banking application, let it be more professional, while for e-commerce application, it can be way more fun. It can say, hey, did you check out this? And I love this and all that. So make sure you give your bot a proper persona before starting. This will help you in designing the conversation. Let me give you a quick, you can easily correlate it this way. So when they create movie characters, right, they design a character, they give that character all these interests and all that. Only then they start writing the dialogues for it. Only then they'll think, okay, what will this character say at this particular situation? That is how you have to go about developing the chatbot designs also. Other consideration that you have to keep in mind while designing conversations: take the consumer by hand. So say like the one we saw, it says like after what do you want to do next, click do you want to eat dosa, like let it flow properly. And if the user is stuck somewhere, let bot come in and help them with what it can do. The best way to do is like maybe you can end each and every conversation with a question, so that you can keep the conversation going forward. Say they say bye, you say thank you, but is there anything I can help you with? I can do these also. So when you end a conversation, it will become much more engaging to the user, right? One breath broad answers, the one you see here, right? Don't let the bot tell everything to the customer at one shot. They are viewing it in their mobile devices. The screen might be much more less wider, so it will become very difficult for the user to swipe and read everything that the bot has said. So you can follow this rule of one breath. If you can't say everything, like read everything in one breath, then it is too long. You have to split it and make it much more brief and then interactive. Personalization: it's just not enough you give a persona to a bot, it also has to personalize the user experience. Say when I say hi to a bot, let it say hi Bhuvana instead of saying just hi. And when I say thank you, it says thank you Bhuvana, I had a great time chatting with you. So it will actually increase, being more personalized will give more human touch to the bot, and people will feel much more wanted, and they will come back to talk to your bot. Ask for feedback. This is a very important thing in the early stages of the bot. So when you have deployed a new chatbot, right, give an option to the user to give a chatbot to give a feedback. So when they say thank you, maybe you can ask, hey, do you mind give me a quick feedback? How did I do today? Did I answer all your questions? So this will help you to refine the chatbot, know what the user's actual expectation is. Voice first approach. Say you are developing a chatbot for voice and also text. Always take voice first approach. Think of all the conversation in the voice based forms, because text we tend to give a lot of information, while voice we tend to be much more specific and refined. So follow that approach. Fail gracefully. Bots are going to fail, and most of the time this is the sorry is something that bots are going to say much more often. We will know it's going to fail. Let it fail gracefully. So here bot is asking what are you craving, and user is saying samosa. I didn't quite get that. I need a samosa. Then I'm not sure what do you mean. I'm so sorry. Be more personalized. And after this, also add an option. Maybe if it's a delivery bot, right, it can say I have only pizzas and burgers. Do you mind getting one? So guide the conversation and fail gracefully, so that user doesn't go blank on what to do next. HandOff. In some cases, when they fail, right, it's better to hand it off to the live agent. So in customer care bots, this is one of the common use cases, wherein a bot might say, sorry, I didn't get you. Do you mind if I connect you to a live agent? So that case, user doesn't go unanswered. They will be happy that their questions are answered, because that is what they're trying to solve, right? And after you design all your conversations and you have decided all these, it's important that you come up with the dialogues. So you have to have this flow. Say first a bot will say welcome, and after that what is going to happen? It will say I want to place an order. Then ask the user to log in, and after they log in, take them to the payment gateway, and then after they do everything, take them to the feedback form. Like all these flows, whatever flows your bot is going to support, it is important that you make a flow diagram and get it properly refined. Each and everything should be properly refined for the development to proceed. Okay, bot is not going to be good at first, because we all are going to make mistakes, and humans are unpredictable. They are going to ask whatever they want, but it is, at least at this stage, you have to develop a prototype. You develop, there are lots of bot prototyping tools wherein you can talk to a bot like you're talking on a conversation platform. You can feed in all the conversations that you have done, the dialogues that you have done, and you can get a real-time feel of talking to a chatbot through the bot prototyping things. So this is important. Develop this, get it confirmed with your client, customers, or other employees. Take the feedback and refine and get this to a particular stage for the development to proceed. Next is you have your chatbots ready. How are we going to configure that in a chatbot? How are we going to develop a chatbot? There is some technical content coming in. So this is Microsoft's Azure bot service platform, but this is pretty much the layers that you have for any bot that you develop on any platform. The first one is the input. The input can be a text, can be speech, can be image, and then it is going to live on a channel. So you are going to talk to a bot through a channel like say Facebook, Slack, Skype, Cortana, whatever it is. And then once it comes to the bot framework, it will send that input to whatever you have said to a language understanding or NLP to understand what the user's intention is. And then based on that, say your intention is to place an order, then it has to place an order, right? So it will call the necessary APIs and then store the conversations in DB, and all these happens at the backend, the actual business thing. So chatbot is just an interface. So you have all the other things, translator, text to speech, all the other things happening in built. But the main thing that we have to concentrate on is the language understanding. There are lots of language understanding providers specifically for chatbots. These are called conversational AIs provided by lots of big providers. First one you see Lewis. Lewis is by Microsoft, and then there is Dialogflow by Google, Amazon's Let's, Rasa is an open source thing, and then there is IBM's Watson. These all help you to configure a chatbot in a very smooth way, just giving a configuration. You need not know everything about AI and ML, all these algebras and formulas. It's just enough you know your conversations and you know how to train a chatbot. To do that, you need to understand three main keywords: utterance, intent, and entities. To whatever NLP platform you go, right, these will be the things that they ask you to configure: intent, entity, and utterance. First, utterance. Whatever you tell to a chatbot is an utterance. So if I say, I want to book a flight from New York to LA, that's the utterance. And intent is the actual purpose. What am I intending to do with this particular utterance? My intention is to book a flight. So book a flight is my intention. You can think of intention like a verb in a sentence. So I want to eat pizza. So want to eat. My intention is to eat. So that will be the intention. And pizza, New York to LA, country names, all these keywords will be entities that you have to extract and send it to your APIs. So in this case, I want to book a flight. I have to call a book a flight API with New York to LA keywords. So you can think of entities like nouns and intent as verbs or purpose. So this is easier said and it is easy to configure. Let me show you a quick demo on how to do it on Lewis. I hope you can see my Lewis window. Here I have my Lewis opened. In Lewis, you can easily, this is free, so you can go ahead and create an app, and if you get inside, there'll be two things that it will ask you to configure: intents and entities. And for each and every intent, it's better you give around 10 utterances to train it with. I have developed a simple bot that can take only 2 intents. It will tell you the symptoms of corona, and it will tell you the number of cases of corona. So for get symptoms, I have to train it with the utterances, right? So I'll say, what are its symptoms? What are corona symptoms? Show me COVID-19 symptoms. Please tell me symptoms. All these are the utterances I have to train it with. What this means is, if I train it with all these, when a user says something like this, NLP will know that the actual intention of the user is to get the symptoms of corona. So these are the utterances that you have to train it with. Let's come to case count. How am I going to ask how many cases are there? So I can ask how many confirmed cases are there so far. How many cases have been registered on March 1st? How many cases were there on February 1st? From India. So all these, India, US, all these are countries and they are entities. Case type, good, confirmed cases, recovered cases, deaths, all these are case type. So I have made it as a separate entity, and date, it's a separate entity. If you come into the entities tab, right, this is where you configure. You can use the pre-built entity to extract the dates, or you can create your own entities like case type. So here I have created like confirmed cases as confirmed will be categorized separately. Synonyms are what are different ways of telling the same. So deaths is negative entity. Like I have just named it as neutral. You can name it whatever you want. And happy, good, recovered cases, all these are separate entities. And I have country entities also. So if I say India, it will say as in, like, can create all these entities the way you want. With this, I have deployed a chatbot in my local. This is running on a bot emulator. This is not live. This once you develop a chatbot, you won't directly put it in Slack or Messenger or chat or WhatsApp. You have to first test it in a local, right? There is this bot emulator platform given by Microsoft that you can just download and give the local host URL so it can start talking to your chatbot. You can talk to it like how you talk to it on a Slack or WhatsApp. So I can ask how many people have recovered so far. So this will talk to the API and get me around 2 lakh people have recovered, and that's a good news. Stay safe. And how many corona cases confirmed in India yesterday alone, how many corona cases have been confirmed? So yesterday alone, there have been till yesterday actually there have been around 2,567 cases in India. So it asks you to stay indoor and stay safe. Say I can ask for this. What are the symptoms? What are corona's symptoms? So it'll this is a quick chat. This is a quick bot that they developed in with the Lewis and Microsoft's power, right? You can develop one in around I did it in around 4 hours maybe connect it to external API and get it done. So that is how easy you can develop a chatbot with Microsoft, and there are a lot of other providers, NLP providers out there. You can develop one and you can easily deploy it in any platform you want. Let me get back to PPT. I hope that is clear. So we have seen till the development phase. Next comes the testing phase, which is so important because, as I said before, chatbots are not perfect, and you have to test it at least to some extent before you send it to production. So you can send it as same with prototype. You can ask the chatbot in Microsoft emulator, right? You can have it tested by other employees, other friends, see how they are talking to the chatbot, see if they are asking the same thing in a very different way, make sure to take it and train it again, and then at least chatbot should be able to pass at least 50% of test cases to proceed further to the production. And being said that it's impossible to do manual testing on chatbots, though it is perfect to do manual testing because it's humans who are going to use, but something can be automated in chatbots also. Like chatbot testing, I read it somewhere, testing a chatbot through automation is like a chatbot interacting with another chatbot. So there are tools to do that. You can use Botium, which is by Selenium, and then there are other tools, bot testing tools that you can use. You can automate some part of conversations and make sure that at least those conversations are getting passed by the chatbot. Because when you overtrain a chatbot, right, even the utterances that were passing earlier might not be answerable at some point. So this automation testing will help you to make sure the old utterances, the previously trained utterances are behaving properly. Deployment and adoption strategy. You have tested, you have developed, you have tested, and you have deployed. So the chatbot is there on live. What to do next? How to, if you think users will come and just talk with your chatbot, that's not going to be the case, because humans are creatures of habit. We don't go and take up a new thing and then start doing that. Because I can just go to the site and place an order as well, or I can call the customer care and get the things done. How will I change my habit to use the chatbot? So this adoption strategy for your business is very important. Make sure maybe you can make your chat pop up and say, while you wait on customer care, you can ask the frequently asked questions here, maybe I can help. So make sure your bot is interactive. Create awareness among your customers. Throw that on your promotion. Say your chatbot is there, you are adopting AI strategy and all that. Let the people know you have chatbot and make them use chatbot for some extent. Only then people can adopt to your business-based chatbots and they will start using it. Okay, your chatbot is live, people are using it. Is that it? Is it done? No. Once your chatbot starts getting traction, that is where the main work starts. You have to analyze. You have to analyze what the users are talking to your chatbot. Analyze their conversations. See where they are leaving the chatbot. See at which place they are facing difficulties. And all these analysis has to happen, and it has to be taken, and the chatbot has to be trained again. I read somewhere that bots are like perfectly brewed beer, so it perfects over time. It takes time to create one. So make sure you use, there are lots of bot analytics tools, and also there are analytics tools inbuilt in Microsoft, Google, Amazon with their chat platform also. So make use of that, check the user conversation, see where it is failing, and train the bot again and again for it to perform better and perfect over time. So at this stage, if we're thinking, yeah, chatbots are cool, everybody is doing, why should I care? Then let me tell you, it is predicted by 2020, 80% of business will have some sort of chatbot automation in place. So don't be surprised when your client comes tomorrow and asks for a chatbot, because it is going to happen. Everybody is going to adopt chatbots, because by 2022, Gartner has said that 70% of white-collar workers will interact with conversation platforms. And where do chatbots live? It's on conversation platforms. So that is where lots of all the, like I told before, all the conversation platforms have bot capabilities right now. So make use of that. And this is one of my favorite quotes, said by Mark Cuban in CES 2020, happened a couple of months back. If any of you are entrepreneurs or in business world, and if you don't know AI, then you are saying equivalent to somebody in 1999 saying, yeah, I'm sure this internet will be okay, but I don't give a damn. So it's the same thing. Like from internet, everything is like, you can analogous to AI now. So from mobile first world, we are moving towards AI first world. So it's important that you adapt yourself, adopt to AI, make your business adopt to AI at this point in time, and it's the right time. If you haven't been thinking about it, go ahead and think about that. And that being said, that's a wrap. I hope this session was helpful to all of you. You can ask questions on YouTube chat now, or you can also reach me on social media platforms. You can see my social media links at this About Me page. Let me see if there are any questions on chat.